Hey guys, Jeremy here with a review for Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm on a little bit of vacay, but I'm still watching and reviewing movies. Now, Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, before I get into a little bit of the more technical and the controversial side of the film, just want to say that this is a really good Queen sing-along film. To be honest, there's a lot of great hits, and there's some really good points. They really showcase the energy that this band had. Rami Malek really captures the stage presence that Freddie Mercury does, that he had, and he's fantastic. He does the character very, very well. And the end of the movie is basically a recreation of their Live Aid performance, like almost in its entirety, like even down to the audio. He is mimicking. Obviously, Rami Malek can't sing like Freddie Mercury, I think. I don't know how they did that process, but it's obviously it's Freddie Mercury singing. But he has it down to the exact audio that was done at Live Aid, which is awesome. And admittedly, the film is shot very well. It is extremely well shot. There's some great shots of just the interactions, just really bringing you into the performances of the actors and the characters that they're playing. And the film moves along decently enough. Admittedly, it goes a little bit too fast in certain points. Like, for instance, at one point they sell their van to get money to get a label, and then all of a sudden they're touring. And so there's a bit of time lapse. It's a bit quick. Now, however, there are some inaccuracies from this film. Some pretty blatant ones. If you want an example of someone who's did really good research about it, watch Let Me Explain, how Bohemian Rhapsody bamboozled us. And there's particularly three things. One, they make it as though Freddie was the only bad child of the band. He was the only out-of-control rock star. He was always late. And I don't entirely believe that's true. And there's a reason why this film has this kind of weird bias towards the other members, and that's because Brian May, one of the guitarist of the band, who is continuing to run Queen basically through the ground, it was a producer on this film. And why I say that is, well, say like, I can't remember now how exactly long ago it was, but I think it was like something like 20 years after Freddie had died, they did a Who Wants to Live Forever it was a memorial concert for Freddie, supposedly. And they got the lead singer of Bad Company out, and it was I believe some of it was a charity event, and this was it. This was kind of like the final send-off. I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. But then they brought it back again and again, and now they have Adam Lambert as their lead singer. And I'm sorry, but no, Adam, you were not Freddie. You were nowhere near Freddie. And the fact that they're using this guy is just... Now, like... Adam Lambert's a decent singer. I won't deny that. But he is most known for being very, very gay and making sure that everyone knows about it. That was his claim to fame after, I think it was American Idol, right? And he had a little bit of he had like one album or a few, and then he just floated away. And now he's with Queen, which clearly shows that they're just grabbing him up while he's basically completely obscure. And, like I said, Brian May's just been kind of dragging the Queen name through the mud for the last decade. So I don't really have any respect for May. Other part of the film that's a little bit inaccurate, too, is at one point in the film, they talk about when Freddie went solo, they make it a big hoo-ha. They make it like, oh, it's a big portrayal. Yet Brian and, I think it was the bassist, had already done their own solo records years before Freddie did. And then... this is like the biggest bullshit here. They make it as though that they've been separated for years, just before Live Aid, yet they had just finished a tour. And then Freddie opens up to the guys like, I've got AIDS. And they're like, oh, damn, Freddie. And the dialogue in this scene is supposed to be heartfelt, but it's bullshit. It's the worst writing in the entire film. And the thing is, Freddie wasn't diagnosed with AIDS until 2 years after Live Aid. So obviously, some of this is kind of meh formalities, but others is just ridiculous in terms of how blatantly fake some of the aspects of the film are. However, this film was plagued with problems. Bryan Singer was the director of it for about 2/3, and then he quit. And then also Sacha Baron Cohen was supposed to play Freddie, which I wasn't actually against. I thought that would have been a cool idea, but he wanted a hard R, and he really wanted to kind of go into the debauchery of what Freddie was, and might have even soured the character of the man. Like, this film does go into his sexual deviancies and just kind of what he, just how open he was. But I don't know, I think that would have been bad. However, one thing that they did very, very well was his relationship with his friend Mary. Mary was a woman who he was in love with and was even engaged with. But eventually his sexual orientation became obvious to the two of them, and they no longer were a couple, but they were friends, and they were dear friends to each other right up until the day that Freddie died. And they talk a lot about this in the film with a lot of respect. Like, he bought a house for her right next to him so they could be friends. And I like that aspect. I think that part was done very respectfully. But like I said, the film is well shot. The film is well directed. It's a little bit by the numbers, unfortunately. And like I said, they just kind of... When the whole Live Aid thing comes up, it's just garbage. It's just this Hollywood drivel that, oh, we got to get the band back together, even though we've been touring. But we're not going to mention that in the film. But, so that's what I mean. There's some... Don't take this film as factual. Entirely factual. Freddie, the performance of Freddie, yes. The lifestyle that he had, how the band kind of got around. There's a few things that I would have liked a little bit more establishment on. Like, for instance, for Bohemian Rhapsody, he plays the chords above his head on a piano years before he actually does it. And then he looks at a cow, and apparently that gives him the rest of the inspiration. But I don't know. I thought it was an okay film. It, as a means of a film about Freddie Mercury, it was cool. It's not the most respectful thing, and it's not the most factual thing, so after you've watched it, definitely check your facts. But as a means of kind of reintroducing Freddie Mercury and Queen to a new generation, that's an awesome, because the music of Queen is one of my favorite of all time. And so I'll say I probably won't watch this again. Maybe I might watch it with my dad, because he was a big Queen fan. He got me into them. But as terms of buying the movie, I probably won't. But anyways, I'm going to give Bohemian Rhapsody a 4 out of 7. It's a cool time. Like I said, don't take everything as fact. Do your own research afterwards. But otherwise, Rami Malek is fantastic, and I hope this guy gets more work. Anyways, guys, that's all for me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, and if you're interested in more, maybe subscribe. Otherwise, that's all for me. See you guys next time.